we're talking about tonight. Tonight, we're talking about this being the Lovers Week, the Lovers Weekend. So we're celebrating love, and we've been talking about what love is, and but we also want to look at what love is not. And Dr. Faith has been giving us some good counsel, some good wise counsel around what those relationships should look like if we are in a relationship right now that is experiencing some tumultuous times or some turbulence. And if you're in marriage, my hope, my prayer for you tonight is that you will get something out of it. But we do want to take some time and look at some of these questions that have been submitted to us around love bombing, around the psychology of love. Dr. Faith is going to get into a little bit more of that, and we're going to answer some questions. But we also said, I told y'all this is the splash zone. So this is where we have the unadulterated, unscripted conversation around anything that you may be doing that you shouldn't be doing because it's not going to yield you what you want. So with that, let's go back to Dr. Faith. We were talking about the fertilizer of the relationship, the growth in the relationship, the necessity to grow. And one of the things I grabbed quickly and from that footnote, and even going in, is that you really do have to have a person in your life that you decide to have a relationship with, where you both have unequivocally made a decision that you do desire to grow. And as I said already, and I'll keep saying it, I just believe that that person that you do commit with or commit to will be your unfinished work and your unfinished business, but you have to be willing to do the work. So, Dr. Faith,
Yeah.
let's do a quick little recap of those nuggets or those gems that you shared with us around growing as a couple or in a marriage. And then we're going to jump to those questions around what we shouldn't be doing.
Yeah, thank you so much. You said it, we have to have two whole, healthy people coming into a relationship. That's really it. Two healthy, whole people coming into a relationship. Let me just, before I just nosedive into it, let me just tell you something that, a question I got recently. So a young lady said to me, you know what, can you teach me how to be a diva? I said, well, what do you mean by that? She says, I'm really, really nice. When I meet a guy, I show up as my authentic self. I'm nice, I'm bubbly, and, it's just great. But by the third date, there is no date. And I found that women who are divas, they know how to keep a man. So maybe it's that I'm just too nice. And so my counsel to her was, if he is looking for a diva, that means he's used to diva-ish behavior, right? That's exactly what he's used to. And so what we don't want is to try to fit a square peg into a circle. You should be able to show up authentically as you are, and he appreciate who you are. So why do I mention that? If there is a man who is coming from a diva-ish background, or a woman, right, who's coming from that background, and the other partner is not, that's unequally yoked, and that is not going to work. It just is. Those are not two healthy, whole people coming together. That's somebody trying to do some gymnastics to fit into someone else's space. That's not healthy. So for anyone out there who's like, we get to the third date and he doesn't want to go out or she doesn't want to go out, don't try to make them go out. Don't hang out any more shingles. Just let that be, because you want healthy, whole people showing up so you can grow. The purpose of it, and nail on the head, he or she will be your unfinished business. And I always call it, mirrors. We're here to mirror those things. So, people will often say, well, he knows how to push my buttons, or she knows how to push my buttons. You know what? They very well should. That's exactly what growth is. You do not come into a relationship if you're not ready to grow. That's what relationships are all about. But the difference is, as we were discussing, is the person that you're supposed to be with, when he or she presses your buttons, punch those buttons, right? They provide a safe haven, a safe space for you to grow. They actually provide fertilizer around your beautiful feet, for you
Yes.
to ascend into being and showing up and being the best person you can be in this lifetime. You know it's the wrong partner.
Yes.
When that person reflects back to you, whatever that is, and they begin to weaponize it, they use it against you. They begin to exploit that, right? Leaving you shattered and leaving your esteem and just shattered into pieces. That's not the person. So oftentimes when we have these things show up, it opens the gateway for different types of abuses, of abusive situations. And so from the get-go, you want to make sure that you have two healthy, whole people showing up in a relationship.
Yes, yes. And I love what you said about the. I mean, that really is a nice segue into gaslighting, because that the gaslighting and the love bombing, it really is it's a form of abuse. I
Both
mean,
are.
now you're the therapist, but in my opinion, it's abuse. And any form of misuse is abuse.
Both are. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the ones who typically identify with that or stay in those relationships, they stay. So oftentimes we get, because they're either scared to leave, or they feel like they can fix him or her. They're going to change, right? But that person who's stating those things is broken too.
Yeah.
Because they want to fix and they want to apply, some kind of salve and heal the wounds. No, that's not going to work. Everyone has to transform their relationships with their past. So when that
right there,
comes up,
right there, you got to pause.
Wait, pause.
That right there.
Say that one more time for the people in the back.
Everyone.
People that left the room.
Everyone.
Right there.
Absolutely everyone has to transform their relationships with their past. So when that mirror is held and that button is punched, that is your past tapping you on the shoulder saying, deal with me now, so that you can move forward. It's the gateway to moving forward with the rest of our lives.
Okay, so I have to ask this question before we move forward with what you're saying about addressing
exactly what it is
and transforming that in the past. So for somebody who really actually don't even know what that means, really just quickly, just when you say that, like, go in slow-mo and say what that really looks like. Give an example when you're saying transform your past.
Because Dr. Faith, they don't think they have a problem.
Okay.
They've been doing this 50, 40, 50, 60 years. They don't think they have a problem.
So if something
millennials, you too.
So if it's continuously getting on your nerves and she's pushing your buttons or he's pushing your buttons, that's exactly what that is. That's your past. And it's saying, deal with me. Deal with me. Just deal with me, right? And so that could look like everything from unforgiveness to jealousy, whatever it is, being just cantankerous, just being angry about something. All of that is your past. You've heard people say, you just complain all the time.
Yes.
Well, they didn't just start complaining. I promise you, when they were 10 years old, they were complaining too.
I love it. Yes.
And listen, and if they listen, whatever it is, that didn't just start. That behavior did not start. It has a history that goes all the way back to the time before they were 8.
Yes.
Okay. It's in the recesses of their minds, and it has basically become a coping mechanism. Why are you talking about me? You're always no, honey, no.
Right.
This is really, for some it's the universe, others, to me, it's God tapping you on the shoulder saying,
of course,
I'm trying to open the gateway for you to move forward. There are folks, we're in a prime time now. Interest rates are low. Folks are wanting to buy homes, get out of the city, move out, right? And so the same thing is going to happen now that happened 10 years ago, which is the credit is going to come up short, right? Bad credit. Definitely. Do you think for a moment that God doesn't want you to have a great home? Because we're praying, right? Lord, please let the application be approved. Let it be approved, right? Please let it be approved, right? But then it's like, so scripturally, for anyone out there who's Christian, the Christian text says that the cattle on 1,000 hills belong to him, and he will give above and
It's
abundantly,
already ours. Yes.
right? So if
Yep.
that's the case, he could care less about a house. He'll give you 10 homes. The question,
Correct.
where
Correct.
is your
And
financial
some.
integrity?
And some apartments.
Where is your financial integrity? That's what we're
Yes.
trying to clean up. That's what's
Yes.
tapping you on the shoulder. You get that straight, I'll give you the homes, I'll give you the apartments, I'll give you mansions on top of mansions.
Yes.
So it's the past that's tapping
Yes.
us on the shoulder saying, deal with me, folks, deal with me. I want you to move forward. And we have to see it like that. So transform that relationship with your past. Go back and clean that up. Get it cleaned up. Get a mop. Get it, get a sponge.
Right.
Get some Clorox.
And what I actually hear Dr. Faith is really saying too, Camille, what she keeps saying? She's saying deal with your past. So that sounds like some self
It's
person.
self first.
That sounds like some self first.
Yeah.
Before
It's
you bring into the whole, you there again. That's why you have to be whole.
Because
you
one
have
is
to,
the whole number, y'all. One is the whole
you have to be okay to look at those things from the past, call them what they are.
Yeah.
Don't give them another name. Call them out. What does it say? Bring them out, bring them out, bring them out. In my little thug voice, bring them out, so that you have to be able to confront it so that you can fix it. You have to be okay to have the uncomfortable conversation with who first? With you.
With yourself. And those are some of the things that I definitely talk about in the book too, because you have to get to a place where you turn. It's not about him. And if you're a guy listening, it's not about her. It's about you. Because when you are right, when my grandmother used to say, when you're right, right's gonna follow right. So, and it will. And as I said in the break, you all didn't hear me say this in the break, it's the splash zone. So you better hold on if you're looking for something all the way holy, because like I said, we can't just be hiding under these scriptures. Those scriptures are principles to give us to walk them out. It's not just to quote them and then throw them down and not open the book back up. It's actually walking them out. So when we're talking about some of the things that Dr. Faith has already shared, we've shared a little bit of our stories. But if you want to live a clean life, in order to be able to be in a clean, whole, healthy relationship, you can't be having your legs open. Yes, I said that. Mm-hmm. You can't just be doing and participating in everything and thinking that that's going to yield good fruit, because it's not. It's not going to yield you what you want. It's already work in itself for right to follow right. So when we want right to follow right, we all been wrong. God knows we all been wrong. Probably had on multiple two left shoes, right? But at some point, as I say in the book, and as I've been saying, at some point you ought to show some sign of change. Nothing will change in your life until we change. And so Shawanna's talking about everything coming back to that mirror, which it is, and it's staring you right in that mirror. Now the question is, are you going to look in a full glass mirror, where you can see yourself from top to bottom, or are you going to look in the obscured view? Those bathrooms that have that half mirror, and you can only see a certain part of you. And it might even be changed. It may even have an alteration to it. So the whole point in the splash zone is for us to do a little bit of deep diving and to do some self introspection and look at what is it that I really want, because God has given us over 2,000 promises, yes, but there's some work we have to do, and He's not coming down to do our push-ups. So back to Dr. Faith with when it comes to this work, and it comes to the women that are saying, oh, this keeps happening to me. I keep choosing the wrong guy. I want to be in a relationship, or I want to be married, but you're not right. So she's explained to us what real love. We know real love is self-sacrifice, and we know that. We know scripturally, spiritually, what real love is. We can throw you all the scriptures, right? I do that during the week on Wednesdays, right? Well, the Woman Wednesday. This is the splash zone. So this is a place for us to get emotionally or spiritually emotionally healthy and talk about it pragmatically. And because we have a licensed therapist in the room, she's able to actually give us some pragmatic tools and real opportunities to be able to walk those things out. So Dr. Faye, if they do get to, if any of our folks do get to a place where they say, you know what, I'm going to own this now. Now that I'm going to own this, what am I not going to allow anymore? Where do they start?
In a nutshell, foolishness. In a nutshell. Because here's the thing, right? So let me just say, there are two pieces to this. The first thing I want to say is you have to know who you are. I think Shawanna said something along these lines. You have to know what you are and who you are. And when we marry or partner early on, I'd say before the age of 32. If I had a magic wand and I could set one rule in the world, one law into order in the world, it would be no marriage before the age of 30. None.
Oh, okay.
None.
I like it.
Mhm.
I like
And
it.
the reason I would, and not to offend anyone out there, I
Mhm.
mean, my parents married early on. But
Yeah,
the
and so
point
did I.
is,
Mhm.
the part of our brain that's responsible for good judgment isn't even developed until we're 28.
Mm.
Here's an example for
Mm.
you. So if the point of all of this is about continued growth and evolving, the evolution of us, right?
Mhm.
Right.
Let me give you an example. 80% of couples who marry at
Wow.
age 24, they're having sex the exact same way at 64.
What?
My.
That ain't so.
Now,
Wow.
part of that is because we're so young and we think that however we're doing it or did it, right, is that's getting the job done.
Yeah.
And she dare not come in and say she wants to swing from the chandeliers before he started going,
Right.
oh, who you been talking to or what have you been doing?
Yeah.
Or he says he wants to do something and she's looking at him side-eyed, right?
Right.
As opposed to saying, oh, he came to me wanting to experience that, or she came to me wanting to experience that. The first place we go is a defensive
Yeah.
posture and go to accusations, right? That's defensive. And so we end up doing these patterns. And then by the 10th year, we are bored out of our minds. And you know, there is no latter rain. There's nothing fresh about, you know what I mean? It's like, so you have to allow yourself to evolve. But when we do it 24, we've not allowed this part of our brain to actually develop, to know, to invite new things. Because let me tell you, what you wanted at 21 is not what you want at 31. Those are two totally different things, folks. So we have to know who we are, first of all. So now they're at the point where they now go, okay, now I want to choose something different. You have to visualize what that looks like. Visualize your cattle on 1,000 heels, whatever that looks like, right?
Right. Yes.
And anything that doesn't walk like, quack like, speak like that, you don't give that any air. You don't give that any air, right? Because you have a goal. And the one thing that God gave us, and we don't talk about this much, but the one thing he gave us is this operating system between our ears, and it is faster than any computer on the planet. And what it has a tendency to do, God spoke, and what happened? It appeared.
And it was. And
And
it
it was.
be.
So we have the exact same power because there's something in our brain, and I'll just go here, hit science, just a quick minute. Reticular activating system. Can everybody say RAS with me? RAS.
Raz.
No Raz.
That thing will attract to you what you tell it to go get. You know, you can say, I need to call my girlfriend. And before you know it, you're seeing your girlfriend at the store. You heard like, girl, I was just about to call you. How did you know? Because this thing that he gave us is the greatest gift of all. We can attract and make manifest that we want. We call it into existence. We have that power too. We speak it. Every cell in our body will rise up to help us get there. But we're not actually taught how to leverage and utilize that power. It's a powerful thing. So if you're ready to stop attracting, because it wasn't that she kept picking the wrong man. She kept picking the same man, just a different name.
A different name, different.
That's all that was.
Right. Mm-hmm.
That's all that was. Because she needed to get her mind right around what am I attracting and how am I attracting this energy? Because if you take away the fancy, suit we're wearing, and it's just spirit versus spirit, a soul versus soul attracting, you get to see all of that stuff. Like, what am I actually attracting?
Because the spirit will let you see it. You'll be able to see it. You see it in the spirit.
You have to want to see it too, though. You have to want to see it. And that's why I love what you said, because I've never heard that put before with the 24 years of where you are at 24 as it relates to, the whole sex piece. I've never ever heard that put that way. I've never heard that.
Married a long time who got married early on.
No, it makes total sense to me. No, it makes so much sense.
Yes.
And then a lot of people don't know what they don't know.
You don't know.
And that's why you have to be okay to get the help that you need. You have to be okay to even listen into wise counsel, seek
Yes.
professional help if need be, so that you
Professional.
can learn some of these tools and things that we just weren't taught. We weren't taught that.
Yeah.
No,
And so now,
he wants it in the dark and you want it in the light, and suddenly the whole world has fallen apart. Like,
Right.
yeah, yeah.
But at the same time, if you were really using, I love that you brought in about the power that God gave us. I mean, because no matter where I am, splash zone or not, I'm still always bringing God with me. Now, of course, I am very frank, as most people know. But at the same time, I do operate in a spirit of wisdom, and I believe that God does reveal things to me. And that is one of the things I do talk about too in the book, is that is getting to a point in your life where you are operating in wisdom. And when you are operating in wisdom, you're no longer operating as a child. You're putting away the foolishness, right? Dr. Faith just talked about the foolishness. But also, I love reminding us of the power and the authority that we have. A lot of times people, folks don't want to always bring, oh, we don't want to make it spiritual. Well, what is it? I mean, it's spirit, soul, and body. Our soul is made up of those things that we spend all our time on, which is our mind, will, and emotions. And we forget about the spirit. And the physical is last. So we spend all of our time in the middle and leaving out the spirit, allowing the spirit to lead, because the spirit is never going to lead us wrong. But just to remind us, even in what you said tonight about the fact that we know that we do have dominion. We know we have authority. We know we have power. But now we actually have to execute it and call that thing in. It's calling it in. You just said speaking it out, speaking it into manifestation, but then also identifying the mental components of, because of the beings that we are. Yet when we're getting these types of questions being asked, well, why is this happening? Why is that happening? It's because you haven't changed. So, our hope tonight is that hope and prayer tonight is that we've been able to just at least open up your eyes a little bit. Again, going back to what I said initially about some introspection, because it's going to start with you. Yeah, in the beginning of the book, I do tell you how ridiculously crazy it was. I have a godmother in my life that doesn't like when I say crazy, but I still say crazy is the word. So it was, I like to call it rage. And rage is really real. Rage is really real. And rage, I believe it starts on the inside. And I can say that now, being on the other side of it. So, being on the other side of it, it still goes back to the beginning. It's walking the steps backward. What is it that you really want? What is it that you're really seeking? What is it that you even believe you're worthy of, right? So if we're looking at some of these questions around, why do I keep choosing the same guy? You just heard Dr. Faith say why. What's happening? Why am I still single? Why are you so man hungry? This is time for you to spend with yourself. That's Shawanna's cue right there. This is time for you to get to know you. I mean, I'm definitely not the same woman I was 20 years ago. Thank you, Jesus. Not even 10 years ago. Hallelujah. Glory to the Lamb. Right. And so therefore, if in relationships, and Dr. Faith can probably speak to this, I was always told that in relationships, you really have to kind of cultivate them, and almost my word for this year, one of them is reimagine. So it's like it's reimagining and redesigning. What is it that you want? Shawanna and I have been friends for 30 years last month. 30 years. People can't stay friends for 30 days, let alone, 30 years. So that says to me that not only do we have intentional amnesia and some really good at it, but also that speaks to me that no matter what's happened in my past, that says I am capable of having a healthy relationship. It just has to be with the right person. She's not my man. She got a husband, right? Mine is not yet, but I do believe that the Lord he will speak again.
You know what, Camille? Can I jump in real quickly, right where you are, right
I was
there?
ready to pass it over because I know Dr.
Yeah, because
Dr. Faith
no. I don't want you to know, because I actually heard it, and people say it all the time. Like, for example, Dr. Faith and I are both married.
Yes.
Dr. Faith, I want to know, because I've heard it and I hear it right now, just because Camille was talking about friendship, right? Now I know your husband, your best friend. What is it? People being okay to have a friend outside of their spouse, because right, we already know that your spouse is supposed to be your best friend, but my husband is not a woman and I'm not a man.
I say it all the time.
So when people say, we know that it could get tricky because of course you bring other people in and you have to watch, because of course what you share with other people, because it can open up and it can allow things that really should not be. However, a healthy space with that, and a married person, what would you say to that, doctor? Can married people have other good friends other than their spouse?
They better.
Amen.
They better. Listen, there's a lot to be said for the sisterhood. There are things that women go through that men will never understand. And it goes back to when we're choosing partners, you choose friends. Everybody is not prepared to sit on your front row. They're not prepared to hold your Pandora's box. They're not prepared to go. And so it goes the same scripture that says, how could two walk together except they agree?
They agree.
And that they're equally yoked. I have no business I'll get in trouble for saying that. The answer is absolutely, you should have, your friends. But this goes for everybody. If you're dating, as a matter of fact, for everybody who's contemplating dating, I am going to throw out an old-fashioned word. I want you to consider courting before dating. And we can go through that process if you want to, but courting before dating. So the same applies. Can married folks have relationships outside of their spouse? Yeah. I'm just telling you yes, because absolutely everybody should be made to earn it, to earn their space into your private space, to earn your trust. We don't make people do that anymore because we don't take the time to get to know them. We just give it to them. We extend that gift to them. Wrong. Let's turn that around. So how do I know that I can trust my housekeeper in my house? How do you know you can trust your friend around your husband? How do you know? Because we've taken the time to get to know them, right? We've taken the time. That relationship has been tested, and not just tested through what she went through or what they went through. It's about what we went through. Like, I can trust you to tell me the truth when it hurts, but I can also trust you that when you're telling me the truth while it hurts, that you're going to salvage my self-esteem while in the process. Right. That you're not seeking to break me down. Correct. You're just approaching me to talk to me about the truth. And if we're two healthy people in a relationship, we can show up in our authentic way, right? And not hurt one another, not tear one another down. So for folks who are seeking to be in a relationship, date a lot of people or court a lot of people. Allow them to court you. Court. That means we are not investing up front.
See, but people confuse those two and call them the same.
So let's break that down.
Because dating is collecting data. So then where does courting come in?
Courting is me deciding whether I even want to go out. Or have you earned the right to a second date?
Okay.
Have you shown me enough of your peacock feathers? And however I like my peacocks, right? For me to even want a second date or a third, go out a third time. It means that I'm not investing emotionally. It means I'm not giving you my Pandora's box because you hadn't earned it. It means when you tell me that you're going to, we're going out at 8 and you decide that 8:45 is okay, that means that's not okay with me. Yeah. That means that you're showing me who you are and I need to believe that. Right. It means that I can also go out with 4 or 5 other people if I want to. And you have absolutely nothing to say about that because we are not dating yet.
You're not exclusive.
And when we move into dating, that speaks more towards an exclusive relationship. And whatever the rules of engagement are there. But even when we get there, that doesn't mean that I'm going to emotionally invest 110% then either.
Correct.
If we were to just pull it back and we let folks earn it, right? We let them earn their way into our space. We're going to be much happier because we're going to know what their hot buttons are. We're going to know what turns them on. We're going to know what turns them off. We're going to know how they self-soothe. We're going to know how they resolve differences. We're going to know how they treat mama and them. You know, we're going
Yeah.
to know how they treat grandmother and them. We're going to know how they treat their sisters. And make no mistake about it, I'm not your sister. I'm not your mama. So that means you're not going to treat me the way that you treat them. But what I do want to know is there respect? Is there integrity in that relationship? Is there toxicity in that relationship? And if it's toxic, what are you doing? How do you handle toxic relationships? Because men can have toxic relationships with other men.
Yes, they do.
Men can gossip with other men.
Sure. Yeah.
So you want to know what you're getting into. So it comes in, let me have the vision of the life that I want. And so in this courting process, is anyone informing that process that they get to move to date number 2? That we get to go out again on a, you know, on a third, whatever it is, right? And stop sitting on the phone with folks 2 and 3 hours. Women, like we lose our sense of mystery. There should always be a sense of mystery and wonder about a woman, even when you marry a man.
Okay,
you know?
say that again for the lovers.
There should always be a sense of mystery,
for the couple.
wonder about a woman, right? She should always be surprising him, and he should always be surprising her. And whatever he wants of her, he should be willing to do the same thing.
Yeah.
Exact same thing. If the mandate is on the table and I hear this, so I'm not throwing this out at any particular person, but I hear the mandate of men saying, oh, she better stay fit. Or women saying, oh, he's no longer attracted to me.
Listen, don't
had his baby, right?
Don't even go in there. Don't go in that room. Don't go in the room.
We're gonna slam the doors off the No. If he wants you that way, that means he needs to be the exact same.
I'm gonna run. You're gonna make me run
exact
tonight.
same.
You're gonna make me run.
We're talking about 2
I'm
healthy
gonna do
people.
some leg lifts under the desk. I can't run.
No. You have just entered the splash zone.
Just into the splash zone.
Whatever it is, if he's like, oh, listen, I want bikini waxes or Brazilian waxes, let's see if that boat can float both ways.
Right.
Both ways.
Both ways. I don't want to see you looking like you're 6 months pregnant. If this is what you're expecting from me. Right? Yes. Hello, somebody.
Amen.
Hello.
Amen corner. Amen
hello,
corner.
somebody. Hello, somebody.
We are moving into Valentine's in just a couple of hours on the East Coast and about an hour on the East Coast. And let me tell you something. Listen, whatever you need to resolve tonight, because if you want to have the logical conclusion, if you want the logical conclusion, we need to straighten some stuff out. Like, no. The latter rain. The latter rain. Whatever you need to do to keep the latter rain. That's what
Let's do it. Let's do it. Okay, so I have a question. We'll throw out a couple more questions, and then we're going to wrap up for tonight, because these beautiful ladies that are with us today, they are on the East Coast. So I am just very grateful and thankful. So I'm going to just lift this one question, and then we're going to schedule another date for us to come together. I'm just feeling this vibe really, really good, and I hope that you all are not allowing it to fall on deaf ear. But one of the questions that was lifted that I definitely wanted to bring to the table tonight was about men lying to women and women accepting the lies. Where does that come from?
Shawanna, you want to take that?
I'm not a man, so I honestly don't know why they lie. But me being a woman.
Well, we know women lie, but I'm talking more about like in relationship.
Right. It's if you kind of, if for me, if I'm hearing you say something to me, right? And that it goes back again to you knowing you, right? And if you're in tune, for me, now, right now, I'm going to speak about me. If you're in tune, if I'm in tune to me, and I'm not in this relationship with rose-colored glasses on, your spidey sense will tell you, your gut will tell you what they said. That's not totally the truth, right? And if you're so desperate, because that's one of the questions talking about being desperate. If you're so desperate, if you are willing to settle, if you're saying you don't find yourself worthy enough, if you don't value yourself enough, you choose to say yes to the lie, because you're not saying yes to what you believe is the truth. You're saying yes to a lie, and you actually know it. Yeah. And then when things go really left, then you say, well, that's not what you said. Yeah, I showed you that I was a liar then. Yes, I did. I did. And you chose to take me as I was, right? And
Correct.
so when you then have your awakening, it's like, where did you come from? No, this is the same person that you've been dealing with, but now you are having your self awakening.
Correct.
So for me, it's really for a lot of people right now with so much us being so exposed by way of social media and all these other channels. Some stuff we don't get an excuse to be able to say I didn't know. That for me, not like right now in 2021. Some excuses is out the window because if you looking, you gonna find. Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
What you got to say about that, Dr. Faith?
For sure. So, Dr. Faith, before you go into it, in parallel to the question, it's also where the women are. So, here's a case in point: the man is saying to you, "I don't want a relationship." We already went into this as a situationship in the beginning. You agreed, I agreed, and now you're expecting something different. So that's the parallel arms to that question.
So all I have to say is amen to everything Shawanna said.
Correct.
That's it. A woman, she's going to accept lies out of fear,
Mm-hmm.
and fear of what becomes the question. So until she's ready to reckon with the truth, it all comes down to fear. And when you say yes to the lie, you're saying yes to everything that lie brings with it. Everything.
Everything.
That's that because we're teaching lessons both consciously and unconsciously. So which means we're also accepting foolishness consciously and unconsciously. So we've got to be conscious of what we're saying yes to and no to.
Correct.
Period.
Correct. And
Mm-hmm.
I have to add a footnote to the fact that, as especially as women of faith, no pun intended, Faith's name is Faith. I liked her from day one. Um, as women of faith, I mean, we quote the scriptures, so it's just living it. It's saying what you know you're worthy of. I mean, God made no mistakes when He made you. He had you on His mind. He knew you before He formed you. So, in knowing that, it's really just identifying your worth, your value. You are above rubies. You are valuable. So, if you allow Him to dog you down and devalue you, that's why you're seeing that. Those are the results you're seeing. I'm not talking about anything that I've heard or read. Is what I've experienced and I know. And so it's not about getting arrogant. It's not about getting cocky. It's about recognizing the scripture says this confidence that I have in Him. So I should have confidence. And my confidence is not in me. My confidence is in Him. And I just believe also that's why, if we allow God to choose Him, and Him speak to us, and then I tell my daughters, get some information, collect the data, at least be able to identify what you don't want. So then you won't accept it. You won't even allow it in your space. You won't even flirt with it. So I just really wanted to bring to the table of the importance of our value. We are
Can I
worth
say
way
something
more.
about that?
Yes,
May I just course correct one term that you mentioned?
okay, give me the
Please.
course correction.
The course correction, and it's a gentle one.
Okay,
But
I'm
I
listening.
think this will make a difference for folks. You said
Okay.
all you have to do is identify your worth.
Hmm.
And I say to people, no, accept it.
Oh,
He's
accept your
he's
worth.
he's already told us what we're worth. Just
Okay.
accept that. Accept it.
Accept what God says about our
That's
worth.
right. That's
Okay.
right.
Okay,
And
I like that.
because there's no dispute about that, right? That's the barometer.
That's the
That's the
barometer.
barometer. So
Mhm.
anything that's less than that, as you just stated, we don't even flirt with that. We don't even entertain that.
Yeah,
It
it's
goes
unacceptable.
against everything. Now, part of the challenge sometimes is we come into our nuclear relationships, which are dysfunctional relationships.
Yes. Hmm. Hmm.
And oftentimes we're harmed from the cradle,
Yes. Yes,
right?
Mm-hmm.
indeed. Yes,
Because
indeed.
before
That's a
we can
good place right there. That's a good
because
place.
we can't think for ourselves. We have no real consciousness, right? How do either one of
Yeah.
you ladies, if you know this, raise your hands. How did either one of you remember when you learned to use a spoon?
A spoon, no. I remember
So
my ABCs
so
though.
when you came to know yourself, you knew how to use a spoon, right?
I feel
I
like
You
that's
was
a
already
good
using
question.
it. Yeah.
Absolutely, you're already using it. So the
Yeah,
point is, the brain learns through experience.
correct.
So when we're babies, we cry, we get fed. And, we go, oh, if I cry, I'll be fed. Or if I cry, I'll be diapered, right?
Right.
And so the same holds true when there is trauma.
Correct.
So I cry and I'm not fed. What happens? I cry again and I'm not fed.
And I'm still not fed.
That makes room for a disorder. It means that now I can't trust. I can't trust people.
It's a defense mechanism.
It sets the gateway for not being able to trust people. So now we're growing up and we're totally unaware that this happened. So, but at 5, we don't know how to trust people. At 10, we don't know how to trust people. So now we get to 21. And
let's go back to 10. Because if you were 10 or 13, 14, and you were abused on top of it, sexually, physically, mentally, emotionally, that compounds it, right?
Absolutely.
I'm listening to you. That's what I'm hearing.
Absolutely. And so that's work. So when a woman or a man sees this happening, and this is hopefully in the courting stage, right? It's in the courting stage, right? Right? Yeah. We hope. Then we're not taking that over. We can love that sister. We can love that brother. They're just not on our front row. That's not something that, because what we.
But see, in the courting space, Dr. Faith, in the courting space, there, all the masks are on. Everything. I'm showing up. I'm suited. I'm booted. I'm wearing my best cologne. My English, I'm crossing every T, I'm dotting every I. I'm using my grammar is on fleek. Everything. I'm that. She's that. He's that. So in the courting stage, you're saying, "Oh, I love this courting. Now I want to date you," right? So see, because they don't show up. That's why people do need to show up as their authentic self, so that way I won't feel like I'm getting something different. That's why it is important for you to show up being you, so people can say, you know what, I really do like the you, instead of saying, well, who the heck are you? That ain't the word I wanted to say. Because then when you show up, they like, that ain't who I was courting.
I will absolutely grant you that. Absolutely, 110%. What I will also say to you is, I go back to, don't invest so much up front.
Right.
So even when we get to the dating,
right there.
We're not investing. We're not, listen. Okay. So here we go. So what does she mean by emotionally investing? I'm talking about, we're not having sex right off the bat.
I said it. Keep the
3 days.
Yes, ma'am.
3 dates, 5 dates, not even that. Well,
20 dates, 30 dates, 40.
Right.
You're not happening.
Because listen, Christ, the Lord, and I will bring Lord in this, God loves sex, right? That's how we all got here.
That's how we got here.
We all got here.
That's right.
But it's everything in order. When we give out of order, it has
in marriage.
So, and we've been dating 6 weeks, and we find out that this is not going to work, and we've not bonded intimately. We've not had sex, right?
Yes.
There's been that physical bonding, right? You can just walk away.
You say goodbye
like
much
any
easier.
Woman, since we're talking a lot of women, right? Women who've had babies, right? Okay. Sometimes in that birthing process, women have to have an episiotomy, right?
Yes.
So a nice cut, right? Cut. And so the baby comes.
Yeah.
You start mixing chemicals together. And after 6 weeks, you decide you want to walk away. Instead of there being a clean cut, there is that jagged tearing.
Oh, that's a good analogy.
And so now the healing process.
A great one.
That's good.
Healing process is very different from a straight cut.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And if you have bonded with that person, you can see them 10 years from now, they walk into a room, on the other side of the room, and something chemically is going to happen in your body.
My Lord.
The deposit happened 10 years ago. So you want to, again, no premature deposits or investments, right? You want them to earn it so that you begin to see the mask come off, because somebody's going to slip up at some point or another. I'm so tired. Let me take the mask off. Let me just take it.
Right.
Oh, well, exactly. All of this. Now the stomach pops out over the belly. And, we get to see everything. We get to see everything, the raw, whatever it is, right? All of this stuff. Oh, so I'm behind in my rent. Oh yeah, honey, do you think that you can loan me like $800? By the time a man is asking a woman for money, run.
Yes.
Run. No.
Yes.
As a matter of fact,
Very
Yes.
fast.
asking you for money on the street, you run, run, run.
Right.
No,
Right.
Yes.
that's not what we do. That's
Yes.
not what we do.
Yeah. That's
So
good.
the way you set it up is the way it's going to end. You don't do that. Again, because we are teaching lessons both consciously and unconsciously. So if that's not what you want to
True.
set up, don't do it. That's in the courting stage. It is okay. As a matter of fact, I actually advocate for it in the courting stage. At least the first 3 times you go out, that you go Dutch. Pay your own way.
Mhm.
Pay
Okay.
your own way.
I like that. Okay. Pay your own way, so then there's no strings attached.
Well, yeah, and we're not showing up as damsels. Like, no. I got me. I got me.
Or make me run again.
Right?
Or
I
make me
got
run
me.
again.
It's like you are in my space because I desire to have you in my space, not because I
Yes.
have to have you. God bless the child has got his own. It's good to
Yes.
have you, but God bless the child has got his own.
Right. I have my own lamps.
That's right.
I
And
can
so
take
by the
myself
time
out.
I allow
Mhm.
you to then, purchase, buy dinner for us, then that's actually a feather in your cap. That
Okay.
I am like submitting a little bit, like, okay, maybe.
Let's see.
trusting you a
Okay.
little bit. I'm
Let's
trusting
see.
you a little bit. And we're
Yeah.
building on that
Right.
trust,
Mhm.
right?
Yes.
But be
Yes.
prepared.
She's helping the singles tonight.
My Lord,
No.
listen, you singles out there, y'all need, listen, I need to put my cash app up. Y'all need to send Dr. Faith a love offering. No, I'm only kidding.
Listen, by
Anyway.
the third date, you may decide, okay, I'll trust this. Let me see what's going on here.
Yeah,
But show
yeah.
up in your like your feminine self. And I'm
Yeah.
fully capable. Because in the beginning, when God created man, he created woman afterwards, right?
Correct.
And why did he create her?
Help me.
Okay, so who needed the help?
He needed the help, Jesus.
Okay.
Come on.
So I can
Hey!
show up. I can show up. Right?
Wait.
I can show
Where's
up.
the pom-pom? Shawanna, put it up. Right. He needed the help. He needed the
So
help.
let's not ever get
But listen, I need
let's
you to
not get it
speak real-
twisted.
I need you to speak real quick because he did need the help. So let's be very clear. Not only did he need the help, when he did find her, he found favor with God.
Favor.
Let's not leave that part out. But I want you just to speak real quick too, because I mean, we're talking about it, we get it, we're experienced on the line. None of us are spring chickens, but because a lot of women receive that whole, especially as women of color. Oh, well, she's too hard, or now she wants to pay Dutch, and it's that strong Black woman. Like, how can we debunk all of that? Because
well, I don't have to debunk it if I have a strong man.
well, that's what I'm saying.
Because he's not
Exactly.
intimidated by that.
He's not. And ladies, if you're strong like this one right here, he's not the right one if he can't handle it.
Right.
If he
I mean,
tries
so
to tell you, I can handle
you're-
you, I can bring you down. No, he's not the one.
You're
He's not
fishing in the
right
wrong pond. You're fishing
Correct.
in the wrong pond,
Correct.
ladies. It's like, who was that? TLC says, don't go
Correct.
chasing waterfalls and stick to
Don't
the
go
rivers and lakes
chasing
you're stick to the rivers and the lakes you're used to. So, like if you want that breed of fish, that's where you need to go.
Shawanna, did you hear her?
If you're
Don't
looking
chase
for
the
the
waterfalls.
rainbow, if you're
We're in
looking
the
for the
splash zone. We need to repeat that. Don't go chasing them waterfalls. We're in the splash zone. Rivers
Listen,
and lakes.
all I'm saying to you is whatever you want, you better know who you are so you know what you
Yes,
want. Because
sure.
a man that's saying, and it should never be a woman that's saying, and I get the conversation and the zeitgeist, right?
Correct.
That
Yes.
we intimidate, a strong woman intimidates a man. Not the one.
Not the right one. No, very true.
She's in the wrong room. Change rooms.
Yes.
In the wrong room. Because he's going to appreciate the fact that she can handle herself. Because he wants her to be able to walk across the room and he's like, that's my girl. In front of all of them, she's slaying, going and coming. And I'm I have the honor of her going home with me tonight.
Yeah.
She should be able to say the same thing. I have the honor. Yeah, I'm taking him home with me tonight. Did you hear him? Did you hear him speak? Oh,
Yes.
That would be mine. Yep.
I love it. I love it so much.
No. Mm-mm.
That's really good. Thank you. I really appreciate this, all of this from both of you. Dr. Faith, I wanted you just to share with the ladies a little bit about your mission. So I met Dr. Faith. I shared that with you all a while ago. I don't know if you were able to hear me, but I met her in a business exchange. And I just immediately connected with her, loved her spirit, appreciated even more that she was a woman of faith, but but walking it out, walking the steps. And whenever we would have conversations, they would be like sister girl conversations, even though we were conducting business. We were still conducting business, but we always would have such great conversations. And she sent me this beautiful, beautiful, I'll never forget, long stem roses. And, they came and people in the office were asking, they're like, oh, are you dating? Like, whose flowers are these? And I was like, I don't know. They're like, but they have your name on them. I said, they do? Okay, well, let me see. So one of the administrative assistants wanted to open them. I said, excuse you, why would you do that? Do they have your name on them? Okay, well, I'll take care of them. I'll open them up when I'm ready. And they were just gorgeous. The roses were beautiful. She had no idea how much I love roses. And I mean, not that the roses did it. The roses was just an add-on. It was an added bonus. And I just really appreciate her spirit, her knowledge. We love being around intellectually stimulating people. And also, you should be wanting to be around people that are going to challenge you. Or that are going to course correct. Y'all see how she course corrected? That was great. I accepted that lovingly. But what I wanted you to share with them, I'll give you and Shawanna an opportunity as we get ready to close. But I know that your mission now is really, is to help women in a way unlike, or support women. I don't even want to say help. Support women in a way unlike what you've ever done before. So tell the audience a little bit about that.
Thank you so much for even asking about that. I'm big, again, into love and relationships, man. I am big into that.
Yeah.
And, just a little background. Before I went into private practice, I was in corporate America for about 25 years.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So I'm embarking on something where there is now the collision course of my corporate background, corporate meeting my entrepreneurial experience.
Connected.
So COVID hit me in a very interesting way. Almost, as you know, I'm on the East Coast up in New York, and almost the entire spring, summer, I was supporting physicians because they were primary in my practice. So just doing everything that we could to uphold physicians, because if they went down, the rest of us didn't stand a chance. So, when I got the opportunity to really study the data, I was really hurt by how Black and Brown people were succumbing to COVID, right? And there just seemed to be one interesting intersecting point. So we were vulnerable, Black and Brown people being vulnerable because they didn't have access to healthcare, or didn't have access to good nutrition, didn't have a financial standing, and certainly wasn't about to establish any kind of financial legacy. So I thought, well, if the intersecting point is lack of a personal economy to mitigate all these, why don't we just do that?
Yes. Yes.
A stimulus check is good, but this is almost the metaphor of, giving a man a fish today and I eat for a day, you teach him how to fish forever.
Right.
So I thought, you know what, with all that I know about what I learned in corporate America and about entrepreneurship, for every woman who desires to establish her own personal economy so that she can, one, access healthcare, 2, access good nutrition, 3, build wealth and establish legacy, and for heaven's sake, get out of a relationship that is not serving her. We know that abuse rates went way up during COVID. So by establishing her own personal economy, she can actually write her own script. She can start a new script for her life, right? So I am now in the process of beta testing a system for every woman who desires to establish her own personal economy online. We should finish up beta testing by the end of March. And I'm hoping to launch, I will have a nonprofit, because for women who are operating at the poverty level or below, right? We need to support her, but a parallel track in the for-profit world as well. But I'm beta testing it right now. And the nonprofit is called Madam President. So every woman can walk away as being president of her own company.
I love it.
She will graduate being Madam President of her own company, establishing her own financial economy, her own personal economy, to build wealth, to sustain wealth, to establish legacy. So that's how I'm loving on our sisters right now.
Loving on our sisters. See, now that was an extreme bonus. Dr. Faith and I have now been conjoined for almost 4 years. Can you believe it's been 4 years?
No.
And and I fought for her in some rooms she didn't even know about.
That's right.
And so one day she told me, look, I know you're doing some stuff for me. I know you are. You're just not saying it. But I want to make sure I I want you to know, and not only do I appreciate you, but I want you to also protect and preserve you. And don't do it. Don't do anything for me at the risk of
That's
you.
right.
Now, when
That's
do
right.
people tell you that?
That's
When,
right.
when's the last time you heard somebody say that?
Yeah.
And so that just only even bridged our relationship even further. But I hope that what she just shared about what she's on a mission now to do will help you. I know you all thought we was just gonna get just only talk about love and the
That
woes
is
of
love
it,
though, is it?
but that is also love. That is
That's
love
love.
to help you or to support you, to position you. Let me
That's
get my
right.
languaging right.
That's right.
It's love to position you to move toward that which you do deserve. That's already yours, and now it's time for
Yes.
you to walk in that.
I love my
So
sisters. I love my
yeah,
sisters. I am my sister's keeper.
I
Are you
am.
kidding me? I am my sister's
Yeah,
keeper.
yeah,
So yeah, we
yeah.
don't listen. I am all for the sisterhood. I am all for lifting the sisterhood. I believe that if we give women um, the right tools, the tools and resources she needs, I trust her to make the decisions that are right for her and her family.
That's good.
I believe that women can rule the world, and I think we have a more peaceful world simply because we don't have the testosterone that where we have to get into these. I'll leave it at this
Debate,
strength building contest. You know,
debate.
that's right. Most women have this maternal instinct, and every
Yeah,
woman wants to protect her child, and in doing so, we might just say, you know what, nuclear weapons are off the table. We can
yeah,
have a more civilized conversation. Are there exceptions? Absolutely. However, when we came here, when we were created,
yes,
we were
yes.
created,
You were
the world needed help, so
world needed
so
help.
so let's do this. We can
That
do
the
this. And
world needed
so
help.
I'm here to
Oh,
support my
yeah.
sisters.
Thank you so much for that. I do appreciate that, and we are here to receive it as well as even support, create even greater support. Shawana, what did you want to add to that for our sisters or for the our women that are listening, and more
It
of
just,
course,
it
especially
really
for the
just,
women.
it is really all tie in. I love, so thank you again, Dr. Faith. I'm so, thank you again, Camille, for allowing me to be a part of this platform tonight. It definitely ties into the whole self first. And you already know with me and what I believe that God was laying charge to me as it relates to the business of self first is being called own her shift. So
Mhm.
to me, that definitely tie into this economy, establishing her own economy. And that's that woman, that's that her. It's time for her to do what? Own her shift. And how can you own her shift is by once you're done with this up. So I'm super excited. I can't wait to see what it's
Yeah.
going to look like.
Yep.
But for people to understand the importance of not only knowing whose they are, but who they are, getting what they need, the help they
Yeah.
need. What I say, if we were talking about ABCs, acknowledge certain things have happened, be bold and brave enough to confront it, you're right, and with courage and confidence, walk in it, putting yourself first, making yourself become a priority over your life, in your life, so that you can be of greater service, not only to yourself, but to those that you love and the people that need you, and you
Yeah.
don't even know that they need you. And
Yeah.
that starts with you, what, self first and owning your shift. So I know that program that you're working on, it is going to be major, and I'm excited. I'm excited to know more.
Explosive. It's going to be explosive. And of course, uh, whatever we can do to help support, whatever we can do to support you
Yes,
in that, you count it done. I told you that a long time ago. You told me that. So here we are. And I just want to thank all of you that
Thank
tuned
you.
in tonight. I thank both of you so much from the bottom of my heart. I'm so thankful and grateful that you would allow us to come together, dwell together in unity. And of course, we had to put those things out there, having the uncomfortable topics. And this is only the beginning. We are definitely going to continue this. It may, of course, emerge. I count on God to allow it to emerge and to morph into other things. But I do thank and salute both of you for being the first guest of Well of Woman Splash Zone. And those of you that are listening, I would be remiss if I didn't say to you, if you haven't gotten the book already, of course, go grab it, go grab it, go grab it. And these conversations will definitely continue. And it's more than just us coming together to just drop something. It's giving you something that you can take. And our prayers that you're going to run with it, that you're going to use it, you're going to pick it up, and you're going to run with it. And you're going to continue to keep coming back for more fuel. So again, I thank you for joining us tonight in the Well of Woman Premier Splash Zone. And we'll be back in another week or so, maybe a couple weeks. I don't know. We'll keep you posted. But I do want to remind you that those waves that are coming up in your life, no matter what they look like, no matter what they feel like, you can count on the fact that they will go out. They may come in, it may feel like a tsunami sometimes, but they will go out, and you can get back up, you can rise up, and you can stand. When you rise up, you need to stand. And when you stand, you need to make sure you're grabbing the right tools, the right information that you can actually run with and actually grow. So that is it for tonight. We thank you. We salute you. Have yourself a wonderful evening. You go on and enjoy your love, your dove. If you don't have one, enjoy yourself. All right. Until we meet again, have a wonderful evening. Bye for now. Be well, stay well. Y'all know, be well, stay well. Good night.
I want to make sure, did she leave? Hold on, I think we might be still. Go out, Dr. Faith, and come right back in. I'm going to end it.